What's up, inmates? This is Peixe, and this is 225A of the cellblock Scorch. I won this week, which is why I'll be reading to you guys. I hope everyone is having a lovely, lovely day as usual. I am getting over a sinus reaction thing, so I hope I don't sound too off, but forgive me if I do. The prompt for this week was given by Red, and it was: only two things had ever gotten the old man of 775 to come outside, and you just broke his window. Now the door is opening, and everyone else was smart enough to run away. Alright, so before I read this, I wanted to say two things. Number one, this is set vaguely somewhere in Great Britain, but I'm not going to be attempting British accents, because as we know, I don't voice act, unlike some of the other lovely writers on here who put in a lot of effort into that. Anyway, just imagine the British accents, okay? I'm sorry. And then the second thing about this is that it is a fan fiction, and it becomes more obvious what it's a fan fiction for the further it goes. So have fun trying to guess that if you want to, I guess. And then I'll say after, obviously. Alright, let's begin. Jaden was an idiot. He'd heard his auntie say that most children were, back before Mum stopped letting her in the house. But he had to be the dumbest of them all. Everybody in their neighborhood knew that the old man of 775 was a shut-in. Dad always shook his head and said he was a creep, but Mum said, "That poor old man, he's probably depressed and so lonely," and left him baskets sometimes. He never ever left home for any reason whatsoever. Well, that wasn't quite true. The neighborhood kids had seen him twice. Once, when Mrs. Abernathy had put her big comfy couch on the curb with her trash on moving day, and the old man had come out, strolled across the street, picked it up, yes, lifted it all by himself, none of the parents had believed them, and carried it back to 775. And a second time, when that big, scary badger was rampaging in Timmy's yard and all the kids were screaming and Lucy got bit, the old man had showed up out of nowhere and picked up the badger, which immediately went to sleep in his arms, then gave Lucy a Band-Aid. When she took it off 10 minutes later to cry to her mummy about the badger, there was no sign of a bite, and none of the parents believed any of that day either, and strolled back to 775. Anyway, Jaden was an idiot, because the new kids that had just moved in next to his house, Henry and James, who were jerks, and Alice, who was going to be his new bestest friend, and their baby brother Arthur, who was adorable, dared him to throw a rock at old man 775's window, and he went ahead and did it. And he picked a big rock, and he threw it really hard, and the window broke. And now the door of 775 was swinging open, and those jerk twins were running off to their own house, and all the other neighborhood kids who came to watch because they were idiots too, scattered away, and Jaden was frozen in place, terrified. Old man 775 came out the door, glanced at Jaden, turned to look at the broken window, and put a hand on his hip, the other coming up to stroke his long white beard. "Were you trying to break my window, Jaden?" "I didn't mean to, sir." The old man raised a skeptical eyebrow. "No? You didn't hope it would shatter?" Jaden flushed. "Well, sir, I wanted those jerks to see how hard I could throw." The old man chuckled. "It was an impressive throw. Those windows were built to withstand pretty much anything." "You aren't upset, sir?" "What, for the property damage? This is nothing. I almost destroyed a castle chandelier in the span of a second. It'll be a pain to respell the windows, of course, but I've made a very important discovery today." He looked pointedly at Jaden. Jaden stared back. Respell. A lot of the kids liked to pretend old man 775 was a wizard, but magic isn't real, sir. I've read Harry Potter myself, and it's a load of tosh. None of those spells work in real life. The old man smiled. "You're right. Harry Potter is a load of tosh. Merlin would never have been placed in Slytherin. I suppose your parents would expect you to pay back the window somehow?" Jaden flushed again. He'd almost forgotten he destroyed the crazy old man's window. "Yes, I suppose so, sir." The old man smiled and clapped his hands together. "Perfect! You can come help me with housework. Let's say every day for 2 hours. I don't care what time you show up as long as you show up. Run along and tell your mum then." Jaden frowned. "Sir, I don't want—" The old man waved his hand, and the glass shards flew up from the ground to form a perfect window pane. Then he turned and strolled back into his house, calling over his shoulder, Thank your mom for her baskets as well, Jaden. Awfully kind of her. And then it says, old man of 775. And there's a picture that I took from, well, the picture will probably be on the Patreon, and then I'll explain it after. So, whatever.
Hello, everyone. I was the judge for this week, and, this one actually, I remember this one really well, just because I had a lot of fun with the story, basically. I'm sure Peixe will mention this, but it's like low-key in Arthur's story. Pendragon and all that stuff. Anyways, not the point. First of all, the story is just really fun and a good way to go through, but what really sells it is at the very bottom, there's a linked picture, or just a picture, either way, not the point, of the Merlin, from Merlin, that Merlin as an old man riding around on his bike, and I just think it's really funny. I think only one other person wrote for this Scorch, and it was Rev, and theirs was also pretty good, but Peische's was just a little more what I was looking for, I suppose. Yeah, that's about it. Keep those fires burning.
Anyway, that is the story. It is a fan fiction of Merlin. So the story ends with a picture that's labeled Old Man of 775, and then it has a picture that I took from the very last episode of Merlin, the very ending, where this is BBC's Merlin, where he's an old man living in modern Britain, still waiting for Arthur, the once and future king, to return. Anyway, I really like BBC Merlin, so I had a fun time kind of putting this a little bit into that world. So, Jaden, I also liked that this is written, like, very much from a childish perspective. The way he keeps going off at tangents and just the way he thinks. So, I thought that was cute and fun. Anyway, in theory, the windows at Merlin's house are magicked so that nothing would ever break them, right? An impenetrable fortress type, whatever he's got going. And so Jaden was able to break them with his rock only because he accidentally used magic because he wanted so bad to have something happen. Which I don't know why I'm explaining to you guys, unless we have young viewers. I guess that was for the young viewers that I do know that we have. That are specifically my siblings. Anyway, good stuff. I liked this, and that's pretty much all I have to say about the story. It's meant to be very standalone, so. I did want to respond to a couple of comments that I've gotten on the Spotify. One of them was for Scorch 9, the 7th release of Braxton Aftermath. And it is a comment from Jillybean3369. Who says, the idea that songs are vehicles, literally, was a good take. I thought taking people's songs and singing and making that energy harvestable made this story interesting. Thank you. I thought it was a fun concept, too. Okay, and the other one is from Scorch 219b, Seeing is Believing, which is that one that I wrote about that kitsune. And Jillybean3369 commented, cute story about a mythical creature. I like the idea that these creatures exist. I love a good fantasy short. I also liked how you started with tragedy, moving to love and support. Thank you. I also love fantasy, so it was fun to write. And the tragedy, moving to love and support, I did try I was reminded of, inspired by, how, Spirited Away kind of starts with that car ride, and Chihiro is sad because she's moving away and she doesn't want to. So that was a little bit of the inspiration for it. I think that Styx commented about the Ghibli vibe of it. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but anyway, I was happy to be a little bit successful, if that's true. Okay, so then that's all the comments I had to catch up on, and I gave the next prompt for 226. Oh. And the prompt is, I'm too spicy for your heart. But I used the pepper emoji for spicy, and I used the heart emoji for heart, right? It's I'm too spicy for your heart, and that is a line from a song that I was playing on repeat a lot at the time that I gave the prompt, and it's Spicy by aespa. So that's a good song. I really like it. I think it's a jam. You guys should all listen to it. And look forward to Cricket's Scorch for that. Alright, thank you guys for listening, and keep those fires burning, y'all.
The Cellblock Scorch is a production of Stellacore, an independent group of nerds sharing their obsessions with the world. We can be reached at thestellacore@gmail.com, through comments on your podcast platform of choice, our Instagram, Stella_core, and at our YouTube, also called Stellacore. Feel free to check out our other productions on our YouTube channel, or our cosplays on Instagram. If you would like to support our creative endeavors, you can give a one-time tip to the Ko-Fi of the writer of your favorite Scorches, or check out our Patreon, linked in the show notes. There, you can access the winning Scorches and episode transcripts for free, or sign up for Spark level support for $5 a month to gain access to all of the Scorch submissions.